Let's record.
Yeah.
Let's kill this puppy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And welcome to the apartment. On a rainy day this time.
Yes.
It's a little overcast.
And people are grumpy out there today. It's only
Did you have a
rain,
problem on
people.
the way
Relax.
here?
No, it's just people have that look about them, like they can't be bothered if, because it's not really raining. It's just kind of misty and just enough to, like, get your glasses wet. And
I think people are just generally that way around here.
yeah. In Brookline?
It's not all love and happiness in Washington Square.
Huh.
It's just not.
Really?
Like, yeah, I walk down, like, we're here to talk about movies, but I want to tell you, like, I say hi to people on the street. I get reactions like, don't you come anywhere near me. Like,
is it just ladies or is it everyone?
Since I'm from Chicago, but since I've moved out here, I just don't say hi to hardly anybody on the street anymore because they just don't, it's just not, the way things are done around here.
And you go back to Chicago, people think, oh, he's all stuck up.
Like in this apartment building, I would even say, I'd be on the way to the elevator and I'd say hi to, a couple of people when I first started moving here, and they'd give me this lingering stare, like this leer.
Yeah. Ooh,
and not say anything to me. And I that hurts, man. Wow. I'm like, just the general idea that people think other people suck. It's everywhere, man. Yeah. And on that happy note,
let's talk. So we got 2 movies this week.
Yeah. We're going to talk about
The Big Year.
The Big Year and The Thing.
Yes.
The Thing prequel. Also, we should note. Did you see Footloose?
No.
I didn't see it either.
They had like 30 screenings of it, but I didn't go. I
New York
interviewed the cast without seeing the movie. Yeah, I'm confessing that.
Work. You
just kind of go with the flow,
Well, interestingly enough, I interviewed the director of The Thing without having seen the movie.
And
but I mean, why? How did they? I did it for a magazine,
right?
But you did it. You did an interview with the cast of Footloose online without having seen the movie.
No, they were in person.
Oh, in person without having seen the film.
Right.
And they knew that?
No.
Oh.
No, that's why I'm confessing it now. No, I've done it before. I've talked to people without seeing the movie before. You just talk in generalities, So, have you ever said hi to people and they ignore you?
Just don't be specific.
Yeah. You don't say like, oh, you remember that scene?
Right.
Which reminds me with John Boorman came in for interviews once.
Yeah.
For that movie, The General. And have you seen the movie, The General?
No.
He's kind of like a modern-day Robin Hood in Ireland.
Well, this is recent, or was it a couple months ago?
This is like, I'd say maybe 10 years ago.
Oh,
but
okay.
anyway, he came in. It's John Boorman. He did
recent.
Deliverance. He did, he did Zardoz. He did a lot of excellent and not so excellent movies. But I got so wrapped up in the conversation talking to the man, I said, "Have you shown the movie to the general's family?" And he goes, "No, I didn't want to be influenced by him. I'll let they can go see it in the cinema." I go, "Well, did you show it to the general?" And he goes, "He's fucking dead at the end of the movie. Did you even see it?"
Yikes!
And I turned beet red, flop sweat running down my face instantly.
Yeah.
Guy next to me, Steve Brophy, God love him, starts laughing his ass off, and John Boorman is just glaring at me. And I was like, I'm sorry, I got wrapped up in the conversation.
That sucks when people you admire get pissed off at you.
I wasn't pissed. He was just staring at me. It was just so embarrassing.
I had that happen with Tom Twyker, and some people pronounce his name Tickner, the director of Tom Twyker. I don't know.
Tom.
The director of
Tom.
Run Lola Run
got
pissed at me because I hadn't seen the entirety of Perfume. And
I
wasn't. Yeah. He got upset with me. And then he got upset with Meg,
For setting up
and we were doing this great interview.
Yeah.
And stuff happens, and you can't stay for the whole film.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to defend myself in the sense that like what I did was right, but I had a personal thing where I had to leave the theater, so I couldn't see the whole film. So it just happens to work out that they're only going to give you one opportunity to see the film.
Right.
And you know enough about what?
How did it come up in the conversation? Did he say, "Hey, how'd you like the ending?" You say, "Well, I didn't see it."
I don't recall it specifically. It was very uncomfortable, and then so he just point blank asked me if I'd seen the film, and I said I hadn't seen all of it, and he got upset.
Well,
So,
I try to not.
C'est la vie. And we're here to help him. We're here to help him sell his movie. So
in a way, yeah.
it doesn't really work out to his advantage that he would.
I've only had one actor directly ask me what I thought of his movie.
Yeah.
And it was Stephen Baldwin for a movie called One Good Cop or One Tough Cop, whatever. It was a piece of shit. And we were all talking about how bad the movie was in the room before he walks in. And he walks in and he introduces himself around the table and he goes, "Oh, what'd you think of my movie?" Grumble, 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 grumble. No, what'd you think? And he points to everyone. And he goes around the table. And these people, these critics, these professional people who minutes ago were talking about how bad it was, were like, "Oh, it was good. You were good in it. Oh, I liked it. It was action-packed." And it gets to me, and I say, it just didn't work for me.
And he was cool with it?
No.
He wasn't cool with it?
No, he just stared at me. He goes, "What?" I go, "It just didn't work for me."
I had it happen once where the actor was cool with it. I didn't really enjoy so much Suspect Zero. And I did a phone interview with Aaron Eckert, and he was down with it. Yeah. He knew it wasn't that great. Well, but you do the best you can.
Stephen
you just, as an actor, not everything you do is fantastic.
Yeah,
you'd have to be psycho to think that everything
hands.
you do is fantastic.
You could, I don't know what kind of subliminal messages you're putting in, when you edit these tapes. So maybe I come off like a jerk.
But I think it's cool that the actor or the director knows that you can write what you like. I gave it my best shot.
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin ignored me for the next half hour.
Yeah,
pointedly ignored me. But did you ever read who directed 12 Angry Men?
Oh, yeah. 12 Angry Men. I just saw that the other day. Sidney Lumet.
Right.
I saw it listed the other day.
Did you ever read his book, Making Movies?
No.
12 Angry Men was his
very
first
much recommended to me.
Oh, it's a great book. 12 Angry Men is his first movie. Here's the young director. He's got Henry Fonda and Lee J. Cobb, who refuse to work together unless they have to. So he has to shoot like Henry Fonda's scenes, and then the next day Lee J. Cobb scenes and all this. But it works out. It's a classic movie. Years later, he's doing The Wiz. Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Nipsey Russell. And in the book, he talks about how he saw the first set of rushes, and he's like, "Fuck, this isn't going to work."
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
This isn't going to work. So, but he's still got a multi-gazillion-dollar movie, all that talent, and he's still got to finish the film. And he knew from like day 10 of let's say a 60-day shoot, it wasn't going to be any good, but he still had to finish it.
Yep.
So I admire that kind of, and hey, I'm sure I've printed, written reviews that
it's called good. Reality.
Yeah.
It's called truth.
Yeah. Well, nothing I write is true. We know that.
Hey, got a couple of announcements in the form of what's playing over at the playing over at the Blattle, what's playing at the Coolidge, and the Harvard Film Archive.
We know what's playing at the Coolidge. You went.
Oh, crap. That's another one I forgot to say we were going to talk about today.
We don't have to talk about it. I didn't see
it.
Oh,
my
God.
See it. I
will go to my
the
grave
Human Centipede, the full sequence.
2.
I just feel so talked out on this film because everybody wanted to know what I thought. Well, everybody, a few people. Yeah. But I think everybody. They screened it on Monday morning. And it's a movie that's going to, greatly benefit from the fact that it was banned in Britain. And I read the feature with, what's the guy's name? Tom Six, the director, in the New York Times a week or two ago about he's just really out and out saying, I'm doing this for the money. This is a sideshow thing. This is just to get you into the theater. And this sequel is just 90 minutes of unrelenting disgustingness. Disgustingness. Oh, and by the way, I got into a conversation with Joyce Kulhaywick about...
Yeah.
Joyce, for those who don't know, Joyce Kulhaywick is a local TV personality who has for many years done features on films on what channel is she?
I think she was on Channel 4, but she also used to do a show with Leonard Maltin, and she's been around forever.
Yeah, so of all the people I thought that I didn't imagine that I'd be talking about this with. And she asked me, she was asking me about it, I didn't think I'd be talking about a movie where they're basically staple gunning someone's lips to another woman's butthole.
Yeah.
It'd be with Joyce.
Well,
She
show.
actually said, she kind of got a kick out of the first one.
Yeah. The first one was kind of like a dare. It's kind of like going into the freak show. And
it is. It's like showing up with your college friends and are you going to ride the roller coaster? And so it'll be
it doesn't make
as
it
I
hard.
had heard someone else say, a bragging rights movie.
Yeah. But it's interesting because right after they had this screening, which I didn't go to, I got the Criterion Collection copy of 120 Days of Sodom.
Oh, God. Right. The Pasolini film.
Right.
That I think for many years was banned. And
it was banned. It didn't play in Italy for years and years. And I haven't made it through the whole thing because it's intense. But it's also artistically good. I mean, there's a lot going on besides just the torture and the grotesque scenes. I mean, there's the way I explained it to someone is, on Criterion they put in a booklet with 1 or 2 essays. 120 Days of Sodom has 6 essays in the book. It's a thick book that comes with this movie.
Well, for many years, this was one of the most sought after Criterion titles.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it sell on eBay for $600.
Wow. I don't think I'll get that much back, but I don't want to talk about it now because I want to finish seeing it, and it's Blu-ray. So if you can get to a Blu-ray, and I wouldn't recommend like gathering the family around to see it, but it's intense. It's intense.
Hey, talking about Pasolini, one of the films he enjoyed very much is going to be playing at the Brattle on Tuesday. No, I'm sorry, at the Coolidge. I got the theaters mixed up. At the Coolidge, November 1st, Tuesday, November 1st at 7 p.m., Buñuel's The Discreet Charms of the Bourgeoisie.
Which is a lot of fun.
Another dinner scene.
Yeah.
So they've got that over at the Coolidge. Certainly well worth seeing on the big screen. Also at the Coolidge, October 21st, is this movie called Take Shelter with Michael Shannon.
I just saw it.
You did?
Yep.
Is it any good?
I'm gonna turn over all the cards and say no. No,
I'm intrigued.
Like it at all.
I'm intrigued. Michael Shannon, Jessica Chastain. What was she last in? She was in The Debt.
She was in The Help.
The Help, yeah.
She was in the one with Helen Mirren about the Mossad agents.
So this is about a guy who's like worried about his family, protecting his family during a storm.
He's having nightmares of a coming event, and the nightmares are driving him crazy.
Huh.
I mean, strong performances, but I didn't like the movie at all. I was just bored by it all.
Not your cup of tea?
No.
I'm intrigued.
I mean, go see it. I mean, it's different. It's
October
better than
21st. It's next Friday. I think it opens next Friday.
It's better than one of the movies we're going to talk about today by far.
We'll get to that. I want a couple more things. Also coming to the Coolidge on Friday, midnight, October 21st, is Lucio Fulci's Zombie, or as they knew it in England, Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Cool. Is that the one where they
it's from '79.
Is that the one where the zombie eats the shark?
No.
It might be. Yeah.
It's a Guillermo del Toro favorite.
Yeah, zombies walking underwater, and they attack a shark. It's pretty cool.
Maybe. At the Brattle, they're doing a series of films called Recent Raves, which Ned brings back a bunch of the films that were popular over the past few months. So they've got Tree of Life on the 19th, Rise of the Planet of the Apes on the 20th, Another Earth, which I kind of digged,
right.
A week from today, Friday the 21st. And then Super 8, Attack the Block on the 22nd, and then Meek's Cutoff, one of your favorite films, on the 23rd. It is, actually. And The Future.
I just know that
Lady Miranda July's movie on the
Rise of
Sunday
the
the 23rd.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes is a double feature with
Project
NIMH.
Project NIMH, yeah.
So I
haven't seen that.
A monkey festival.
And also, I think people locally should really know that the Harvard Film Archive has The Legend of Taylor Mead from October 21st to the 24th. And Taylor Mead, Mr. Andy Warhol, actor, poet, collaborator. Let me name a couple of his films here. Lonesome Cowboys, Queen of Sheba meets Atom Man, Tarzan and Jane, Regained, sort of.
That's the title?
Yeah. It was this movie that he made with Andy Warhol in I think they filmed it in 62, 63,
Right.
came out in 64, and it was inspired by this trip that they took to California, and it's basically him sort of prancing around the pool at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where the hotel pool is the jungle, and he's Tarzan.
Yeah.
It has an appearance by Dennis Hopper. This other film that they're showing on October the 22nd is actually really the one to see. It's a rarity. Brand X. It's a film by Win Chamberlain. This is I guess I would want to say it's like a mockumentary of sorts, but it's a collection of skits where they do fake commercials and then they comment on the politics of the time. It's an early film with Sam Shepard. There was only, like, for the longest time, I think people couldn't find it. And apparently one copy was found, and Taylor Mead is bringing it to the archive on Friday the 22nd. He's going to be there. I think he's in his mid-80s.
You know, it
Brand
sounds
X.
like a perfect night at the archive, and I won't be there.
Taylor is not your kind of thing.
No, not at all.
This is real,
Not at
like,
all. Esoteric.
yeah,
Cinema.
out there.
This is cinema.
He did this other film called The Flower Thief a few years prior, and this was like basically documenting a trip or like these following him through the San Francisco scene.
Mm-hmm.
The coffee shops, the music and stuff like that. And they're
hippies.
showing, the hippies. So that's going to be on Friday the 21st. The Legend of Taylor Mead.
At the Harvard
I'm going to
Film
go
Archive.
at the Harvard Film Archive. That wasn't painful for you, John, was it?
No. I'm just trying to think of why. I'm just trying to imagine sitting there watching some idiot romp around the pool, pretending. to be
That's
Tarzan.
basically
Like,
what
that's
it is.
art. Well, if that was a home movie, I wouldn't show it.
Somebody said, I forget if it was that film or another, but it might have been that. I think it was the Tarzan film. Somebody, a New York reviewer said, it's like 2 hours of watching Taylor Mead's ass.
It's 2
So what
hours
Andy
long?
Warhol, something like that. So what Andy Warhol did, he made another movie where he filmed Taylor Mead's ass for 2 hours.
See, yeah, that's art. That's art.
This you'll like. Okay, the
Yeah.
Brattle has on Halloween, they're going to show White Zombie with live music accompaniment by the Volcano Kings.
Cool.
So that's definitely worth it. That's a $15 ticket.
It's
But it's
a
good.
rare
It's
opportunity.
worth it.
If you've never had the chance to see a movie with a live orchestra, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I saw Koyaanisqatsi with Philip
Really?
Glass performing live. Yeah.
I couldn't get a ticket to Metropolis with the Alloy Orchestra.
Oh.
That was sold out earlier this year. But I think White Zombie is a good call
Yeah.
by the Brattle on Halloween. Coolidge hasn't, as of this point,
And that's
announced
a
what they're going to do on
family-friendly
Halloween. But
kind of thing. It's not a really. It's a fun movie. It's not blood spattered gore. It's all black and white. Bela Lugosi, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. There's this show I love on the Sci-Fi Channel called oh God, the auction show, Hollywood
Memorabilia crap?
Hollywood Memorabilia or whichever. They auctioned Bela Lugosi's cloak from White Zombie, and it went for $100,000, something like that. I
Wow.
think it was in the multiple zeros. Yeah, it was
Cool.
a real find. I think it's time to get to the big year. On this episode, we're going to talk about the big year and
Do we
the
have
prequel
to?
to The Thing, the prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing. You didn't like the big year?
No. Birding.
I think I'm kind of
a
there. You know what?
movie about
I'm surprised
birding?
because I thought in many ways it's a pleasant film, but I'm right
Pleasant?
there with you.
Oh,
I actually
God.
think that this movie was is going to be it's I remember walking out of the theater thinking this is actually for older people. Not that I'm 46 now. Had my birthday the other day. John, you're
We're talking
somewhere. But
people
we're
in
talking
their
this is an
90s.
audience of the 60, 70-year-old crowd might dig
People who just like
Big
to see
year.
flickering lights, and they're waiting for the organ to rise up from the front of the theater.
wow.
What a waste of money, first of all. The money they spent on this thing, I was just bamboozled by how much this must have cost.
Great cast though,
Wasted.
you know?
Totally wasted cast. And what's happened to Steve Martin's face?
That's what some people were talking about. Like he's bloated or something.
He's got little piggy eyes. I don't know if he's bloated or he's had some kind of
He's just-
reaction. It might be a nervous reaction to such a bad movie.
I think he just maybe has
bad.
gained a little weight, or
But he didn't
maybe
look-
he was eating some sugar every
He
morning.
didn't look fatter or bigger body wise, or maybe he just had some bad plastic surgery.
Or maybe it was bad makeup.
No, there was. It just had that bloat look. So I don't know.
A caricature of Steve Martin by Steve Martin,
Yeah,
perhaps.
that's sad. Why don't you explain to people what this engrossing movie is about?
Well, our buddy Owen Wilson plays a guy who is like the pinnacle of bird watchers. He is like the best. What's his name? Bartok? I forget.
Burdick.
I don't know. Burdick, yeah. Where I'm guessing. We don't have the.
It's Owen Wilson. Doesn't matter. He's the same in every performance. So we'll just call him Owen
We're
Wilson.
flying free on this review without notes in front of us. So he's like the New York Yankees of bird watchers. You know, he's admired and yet hated. Everybody knows about him. He loves the publicity. It's like his thing, and he does it so well to the detriment of his relationship. And he's engaged to a Bond girl. I forget her name.
I know, Bond girl. So what? You don't. That's the least of my problems. Is like there's a hot woman who wants to have sex with you at home.
Yeah,
and you're leaving to go look at birds.
And this thing called The Big Year is basically a quest wherein over the course of the year you document having seen the most birds of a rare type or something like that.
Or just the number of species, you know. So you could put pigeon on your list. That's one.
Yeah.
Chickadee,
yeah.
2.
So he's somewhere up in the 700 range.
Yeah.
And they have to go, and these guys have to go, and girls, they have to go everywhere. I mean, they max out their credit cards. They travel to, get to these places where the birds are. Yeah, that's what they do. It's all consuming. It's like about obsession. Yeah. And Jack Black is another one of these obsessed guys. He's a 36-year-old divorcee living at home with his parents.
Brian Dennehy and Diane Wiest.
Yeah,
talk about
I think it might have been the makeup in this movie because I don't think Brian Dennehy was looking that great either. He
hasn't for a while. Though.
He has had the same kind of, just looking kind of bloated.
Yeah,
you know,
he hasn't looked healthy in a long time though. I think he's just really old.
Thanks.
He's really old.
He's Jack Black's dad, worried about him, not convinced in any way that his son's birding obsession is doing him any good. So Jack Black's character is going to get like a week or two off, and I guess he's just trying to put it together so he can make a run at the big year, and do it for like, not the notoriety, I suppose, but just because he wants to do it for more like a humanist reason. He wants to learn something from the birds and share it with people.
Well, I think he also wants to make his mark in the world too. Like, he's been a failure at everything else, but he's going to be the best birder.
That's true.
So, like,
yeah,
the other 10 birders in the world know who he is?
I don't think he doesn't have that sort of motivation like Owen Wilson does. Owen's like, his character, Bart, whatever. He's like just trying to keep the people off his heels.
Yeah. Because that's, he's on the cover of Bird magazines. So that's pretty popular.
John's like, whatever.
I should clarify this. Yeah. I should clarify this from the beginning by saying I really don't like nature.
Right, and it's a little harder to talk about a movie that you're not so enthused about. So
all right. If they had a thing where they had to let's say they had a big year when they went out and looked for nipples or boobs.
Uh-huh.
Even then, I probably would have lasted like a half hour before we'd be like, all right, come on. There's got to be more of a story than close-ups of birds in, computer-generated hummingbirds.
Computer-generated birds, by the way. Yeah.
I mean, just a shot of this hummingbird looking down at Steve Martin would probably be the budget for 10 independent films.
I was sort of like, where in the world did this movie come from? Steve Martin, the other guy that's in on the big year, and they all keep the fact that they're doing a big year a secret from each other. Because they don't, whatever. It's like a secret competition. Yeah. So Steve Martin plays.
But they all show up at the same place.
Yeah,
it's
all
like
the
you
time.
just happen to be in the remote island in Alaska, and you're
right.
not counting.
And
birds?
then the other thing is the honor system.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that you really got to 323 and you're not faking it? It's just the honor system, which I think they explain briefly in the movie, but I'm still not convinced. And then, so Steve Martin plays a money is no object CEO, head of this incredible company that just, helicopters, all the latest stuff. And his birding is getting in the way of him making like the biggest deal of his career.
And
the one that'll just give him so much money, he just he won't know what to do with it. Like
well, it's
10
also
times over.
it'll also give everyone in his company a chance to keep their jobs. And he's got he's got his flunkies, Joel McHale and Kevin Pollak, two pretty funny guys who do nothing.
This cast is actually pretty incredible.
Angelica Houston. I was trying to look up the woman's
Rashida
name.
Jones.
Yeah.
As Jack Black's sort of love interest, who's also I thought she was going to be in on a big year too, but we don't quite know.
Will Hollywood stop trying to make Jack Black a leading man? It doesn't work.
And he's basically playing the character here that we've seen so many times.
Oh, yeah,
School
he's
of Rock,
playing Jack Black.
and at its worst, Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, and he somehow gets the hot babe. Sorry, not buying it.
You didn't buy the Kate Winslet Jack Black thing?
God, no.
With Eli Wallach.
I buy none of this.
Yeah.
You know, just the idea that people, and the thing is, if it's a movie about obsession, I didn't get that sense that they had anything to say about obsession with this movie. You know?
Well, obsession in the sense that you believe that what you're obsessed with is actually you're going to learn from it. It's going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
Which isn't the case with Owen Wilson, but is the case with Jack Black. And, the message with Steve Martin's character.
Yeah.
Which is pretty actually kind of lame, because in real life you'd be like, yeah, ka-ching, just make the deal and then quit.
Right. And the thing is, the message stick is pretty heavy-handed in this one. It's like, okay, we've made you sit through an hour and a half of this crap, and now we're going to teach you a lesson.
They also seemed pretty intent to make birding really super interesting. And like it's just not these guys standing around with binoculars.
Yeah.
They throw in like a near miss helicopter crash. These guys just chasing each other. I mean, they go from like Wyoming to Texas to Alaska to Mexico.
Yeah.
They're like boom, 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 boom. And for Steve Martin, money is no object. He can do it. For Jack Black, it's like, and all these other people, how in the world?
He's supposed to have $5,000.
Oh, he just has an angel situation with his mom come in to do
who's like giving him
$5,000
here's a credit card with a $6,000 limit. Go ahead and chase your dreams.
It's just like the most important thing in his life, though.
All right, you know how much again I don't like nature, but when I was a reporter on Cape Cod,
but it's a beautiful looking movie. Go ahead.
No, it's not. When I was on Cape Cod, I had to go out on a boat on a seal watch, where you get on a boat and you go out and look at seals.
Yeah.
It was a story. I had to do it. I went with the photographer, Barry Donahue, who set me up on this. It's an Audubon boat. So they're not only going to look at seals, they're going to look at birds. And they're literally like 25 people on the boat, and they would say, seagull! And they'd all run and go, with their binoculars and look. Finch! And they all run and look. And I actually yelled out, bird! And they I saw them put up the binoculars and then look at me with hate and anger. And I was like, hey, just kidding. And then we go to this island off the coast of Chatham where there are seals. And it is cool for like a minute and a half. And because the seals come out to look at the boat, which is kind of interesting. But because the seals are closed, you can't turn on the engine. So we're out there for 45 minutes while these seals.
It is, in a way, I think, the movie's trying to bring you in on this subculture.
Yeah.
Where everyone sort of thinks alike, does stuff alike, and impresses each other with their, the minutiae of their knowledge as far as all these different birds go. And also in seeing these different birds, I think the thing is you learn is that, any person can see any one of these 3, 4, or dozens of people that are doing this, constant bird watching can see it. But it's like the moments are so ephemeral. It's like they seem to believe, or it's different. Right. Like when you see the snowy owl, which I suppose was like the Harry Potter owl, which is one of the real finds in the film. Any of the birds, I suppose.
Right.
What the birder doesn't expect is like how they're going to perceive it, how that's going to make them think differently, or
right. It'll change their lives.
Yeah, not so much for Owen Wilson, but I just feel like it's all really forced. There's one moment where I did really get a kick out of it. I don't like it. I got a kick out of it for a moment, and then I end up getting angry at the movie, and that's when the movie uses a song that I really digged, and it was like my private thing, and an obscure track. And there's a moment in this movie where they use Brad Meldau's cover of Blackbird. which I've been listening to for years.
Mm-hmm.
It was on his first album, and they've used it in the film, and I was just like, oh, violated. I feel violated.
I just felt annoyed because I was like, I know that song. Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's, the thing is with this movie, they're really trying to sell you bird watching like it's robot boxing,
culture.
real steel. It's exciting. It's thrilling. You want to be part of it. No, I don't.
If they seem to have cut out the 10 hours of waiting in a bush.
Right. Yeah, or just
and they just all of a sudden appear at some place in California.
Yeah.
You know?
Like and like
I mean the birders.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like another, hey, how you doing? Now we're down in Florida.
Right.
Oh, hey, now we're at the Gulf of Mexico because of some storm.
Yeah, but we're not doing a big year.
No.
I don't know how we pay for this either. And the fact that Jack Black is some kind of a safety engineer at a nuclear plant or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is
it's just crap.
Quickly forgettable.
Yeah.
I
I will not forget it. This movie will piss me off for years.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
A totally lame nature comedy. So let's just, I think we can leave it now.
Yeah.
Let's kill this.
Or just fucking kill the bird.
Yeah.
On to the prequel to The Thing, which I digged. And you were just like chomping at the bit to totally disagree with me.
No.
I loved the feeling of this film. I loved the creepiness. I think that like people who were criticizing, it's
sameness,
lack of character development.
Or
I just kind of didn't. I had fun with it.
Okay.
I had fun with it.
Well, how was that influenced, or what was you interviewed the director? So how did that influence your viewing of the film?
Well, when that happens, what the parameters are within which the director has to make the film. So in this case, there was a couple people at the studio that really wanted to see the film made, and it was an opportunity for a director to do it. And he had kind of been brought to Hollywood. I mean, his commercial work.
Right, this is his
Matthias
first
Van
feature,
Hagen.
right?
Yeah, it's his first feature. His commercial work is amazing. He was brought into sort of introduced to Hollywood by Zack Snyder, and they had a big budget film that they were trying to put together that didn't quite work out. I think it was called Army of the Dead, and after that happened, the possibility of doing the Thing prequel came up, and it just seemed to work. He thought that if I can take the character and do this, if I can take Mary Elizabeth Winstead or a female character and not try to do what Kurt Russell did in The Thing, because he's a very manly character, but here we have a female lead who's very,
manly,
feminine. Yeah. Well, the New York Times totally dumped on this, and I do not agree with it. I do agree with the fact that you cannot remake The Thing.
Right.
But I do agree that if you want to do a prequel that leads right up to the very beginning of it, you have to kind of play in that same design. Things are going to kind of be that way. I mean, you can criticize it for having a lack of character development, but basically it's and you can shoot it down for the very same reasons that people who now consider this movie The Thing, a classic, or publications, they trashed it when it first came out.
Not me. I loved it.
Well, there were a number of people that just thought that this movie, that John Carpenter's The Thing fell flat.
Yeah.
Fact. And it failed. Now, this movie, it's not a bad film. It's a good film. And it actually achieves in its thing in the makeup effects, is basically one of the reasons we're paying to see this, is to see what the Thing is going to just freak out do to people. And that pays off in the film. You can criticize it for maybe not having enough character development, but it certainly has the feeling, and it certainly has the good scares. And the fact that Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, Kate, she's not all up and controlling like Ripley. I mean, she's not, they wanted to take some elements of what, Ripley was in Alien and kind of bring that to her character. Right. But she's really more a pacifist. She's not aggressively, trying to like take out the alien. It's just a woman who is a research scientist who was placed in the situation and has to deal with the situation.
Right.
She's not like Alpha Woman. leader. She just happens to know, that, just through just basic deduction that this is what this thing is going to do. They slowly come to this realization, like Kurt Russell's team did in the first movie.
Almost exactly.
Go, John.
No,
you can criticize it for being. People can say, it's like it, but in a way, in terms of like it's dramatic, it's narrative and setup.
No,
yes,
I mean actual
because
scenes.
Ultimately,
autopsy
all right,
scene,
go for it.
autopsy scene, blood testing scene, blood testing scene. Yes, this one opens up and finds the alien ship under and goes into it and stuff like that. But I thought this. If you're gonna, I have no problem with a prequel, but a prequel that's pretty much the same movie.
I'm totally fine with it. I'd love to see a prequel to the prequel.
No,
I'd love to see a sequel to the thing. The nature of this story is unsettling, and just to get another episode playing around in that is terrific.
Nope. I think it lacked. I don't care about character development. I don't remember character development from.
Do you
John
generally don't
Carpenter's
care
movie.
about character development, or you
movie.
didn't just care about it in this movie?
They're all they're only characters until they get wiped out. They make their stand in the movie and then they get killed.
This isn't
a drama. This is a thriller. And the fact
go ahead.
Well, the fact that when I used this before, I was talking afterwards the movie, when I saw the Carpenter movie, there's, let's say, when the head grows legs. And for people who haven't seen the John Carpenter movie, you freak out. You freak out. You laugh. I laughed because you have to, otherwise you're going to scream. It was that wild. When I was watching this one, all I was saying, like, that's a cool special effect.
I thought it creeped me out.
See, but that
it still has pieces of the human body that sprout legs and fucking crawl, and that's creepy.
No, it has pieces of plastic.
It still plays tricks on you.
See, all I saw were pieces of
John,
plastic.
you had to want to like it. I went in wanting to enjoy it, and
I don't have to want to enjoy it. I go in with as a blank slate as I can. I didn't have any. I talked to
Really?
Yeah, I talked to people who were geared up.
You
to
weren't
hate
dismissive
that
about it.
No.
You weren't.
No, The Thing. I'm a big fan.
But this is the thing. This
I'm
seems
not
like it
looking
would be
at
right
one
up
as a
your alley.
religion, and you're pissing on my religion here. This is just another movie. Bring it. Show me what you got. And it didn't grip me at all. I think the lack of humor.
That's another thing I was going to mention is that there's a lot of horror movies that or filmmakers that make horror movies that believe that humor is like the thing that's going to kill the tension in the film.
No,
and it's not. Absolutely.
No.
We need that kind of release.
Right.
We need the humor like Jaws had.
Right.
We need the humor like Aliens had. We need moments to breathe. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't take it away. The thing had far too few moments where you could actually go laugh. And there were a couple, but it wasn't enough.
See, you take a roller coaster ride. It's not all huge, rides down a hill or turning upside down. There has to be that moment of calm in between the next big thrill. Not only because it gives you a chance to breathe, but that's where you get character development in pieces like this. When you watch Jaws,
you're right. Humor does really add to the character development. When they start
comparing, scars in the boat, and they start singing that song, "Show Me the Way to Go Home" or whatever, that pause, that humor, that humanity is what makes it so threatening later when the walls start to cave in the boat.
Well, yeah, and in most dramatic moments.
Yeah.
What's so great about Star Wars is the fact that there's such great humor in it.
Right.
And in The Empire Strikes Back, and in the trash compactor scene,
right,
like Sarah and I were watching it the other night. I'll get into that in another episode. But just the humor there,
right? And we're not
works.
talking about jokes.
Please put humor in movies, people.
It doesn't have
especially
to be,
horror movies.
It doesn't have to be a joke.
And humor that doesn't come from the shock value of the graphic horror.
Right.
Humor that comes from the characters commenting on what's going on.
Right.
Something that says, we're coming up for air.
Well, and John Carpenter's The Thing has that classic moment where the head rips off the body, drops to the floor, grows
creepy.
legs, scurries away, and the guy says, "You gotta be fucking kidding me."
I know.
And it was like just what you're thinking, and you laugh because,
you have to say what the audience is feeling, because generally we're dismissing this stuff as the audience is like, just, people they really are naturally funny. Let the characters be that way.
Right.
That didn't happen in The Thing.
No.
Enough. Now, I want to say this is a good movie. It's not a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's fair to dump on it too much, like in a couple of the reviews that I had read, particularly the New York Times, which just like had this attitude that it just generally sucked no matter what. And it doesn't. It's just not a great film. It's a good film, and it's a fun film, and it does what it's supposed to do.
I don't think it was good. I didn't think it was fun, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to do.
Oh, come on, John.
No, I didn't. I stared at it.
You weren't surprised by any of the members of the team that turned out to be infected?
No, are you kidding? All right, spoiler alert.
No, I'm not kidding.
Spoiler alert. Because when they come up with this thing where we know that when they replicate you, it can't have
metal,
inorganic material.
So they're fillings,
right? So we know that.
So I wouldn't spoil anything beyond that.
But they do the blood test thing instead. When all they have to do is make people open their mouths.
Well, that was it was a different way of trying to determine who's possibly.
It's like there's one character who has an earring. And why do you know he has an earring? Because every scene he's in, he's turning his ear to the camera. So you're like, oh, you think this will play an important part later? Yeah, and plus it's 1980 something. The guys wear earrings, one gold earring. Who?
I don't know.
Back then, stuff like that. I think those are just stumbling blocks. The first time filmmaker has.
What did you like about this movie? There had to be
short.
something. I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead did a fine job. It's not this character that's over the top.
No,
she's just experiencing what's happening.
It's kind of
I think people want, there's the idea that because you're the lead in the film, you have to do you have to act a certain kind of way.
No, I had no problem with her. I didn't think it was a bad performance. I don't think it was much of a performance.
The helicopter scene, man, that was creepy. That was pretty damn cool.
But again, when it happens, all I saw was a special effect.
But and also the scene where what the alien tries to do is it doesn't do stuff in front of other people. It does it secretly. So it maneuvers to have one person be alone with the other, so that other being can consume it. Right. Didn't that factor into any of the chess playing in her?
No, I didn't get the sense that there was a chess game going on at all. It was all pretty.
You didn't know that the alien was trying to just get that whoever in this group was infected. All they wanted to do was get these people alone.
Right. It came across more as like a cheap plot device than something that was actually going on for me. Again, I'm not making that connection to this movie at all.
All right, I can keep trying, but it's a good movie.
No, it's not.
It is a.
No, it's not.
It is adeptly made. There are filmmakers who make movies that have don't have a basic knowledge of how to construct a film, and this is well constructed.
Oh no. There's some pretty obvious flaws, like the earring thing. And again, it's pretty well constructed because it's layered on top of a structure that has already been done.
It builds into a framework that leads into the film that comes after it. It sets it up.
Remember mimeograph machines?
Oh.
Hey kids, you remember those?
Okay.
And you crank them out, and like the last, they got
yeah.
less and
also
less
called
readable.
Xerox. Yes.
This was less readable. This was and someone went back and tried to draw over so you could read it, and I couldn't see the.
You
original.
can watch this film and enjoy it.
No, I couldn't.
Okay.
Some people you did.
We differ.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. All right.
And on that, I think we're good. Let us know what you think about the thing. I want to know. I want to know. Send us an email at contact@post-movie.net. Help me, people. Help me. Help me.
Help them.
Check out all of our episodes online. We're at post-movie.net. We're also on Facebook, and we're on iTunes. If you can subscribe and leave a review, that'd be cool. iTunes. Check it out. I think most people know about it.
iTunes?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Until next week, I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
So long, everybody.